Hi, happy Facebook Friday. I'm laughing because it has been a technological issue start today. That happens. And as much as I love technology, sometimes my laptop does not want my camera to show my face. And I thought just listening to me blather would make it boring. So, hey, Mary Berry. So I hope you're having a great week. We had sunshine this week, and rumor has it that this weekend is supposed to be bright as well. I mean, I know we bring our own light, but oh man, I need at least the example of vitamin D to not be my old crank self. So the extra lighting today is brought to you because it is dark in here at this time of day until we get through to where it's actually dark outside and my lights start looking like they're working. So there's something to be said for efficiency bulbs. Like at some point during the day, you can't even see your hand in front of your face. So I hope you've been having a good week and that you're enjoying these and that you're putting into action the ones that resonate with you. And you know, I say even when people come for a session, take what resonates, throw out the rest. And if something does in fact resonate, well then let's put some action behind it. Let's get some movement going there. So this week, the blog, newsletter, live are all going to have the same theme because I have found it to be something that shows up repetitively. And I mean, it's part of being human and it's part of having a brain that likes black, white, left, right, up, down, salt, pepper, you know, all those contrasts that make being human kind of fun too. So this week came about because I was talking with a friend and she was texting me and she was having a little bit of a meltdown because that's good for the system. It's good to get it out. And had said something that she wasn't thrilled that she said. And she actually reflected back to me. She's like, you would never say those things. And I was like, how can I know you 10 years and you not think I'm human? Think I wouldn't lose my stuffing? That's what I call it. And because I'm hoping it'll take some of the padding out if I keep saying that enough. So it's one of my training regimens. So I don't lose my stuffing often, but when I do, it's impressive, and we're all human. And I said to her that, of course I do. And she's like, well, I've never seen it. And I thought, well, yeah, because I'm not going to put it all over the place and post it on all the social medias and everything, because that only begets more frustrating energy. If I'm already frustrated, why would I ask for more of it? I know that whole expression of misery loves company, but when I'm miserable, I do not want company. I want to move the energy through. I want to understand what's causing it. I want to ask about my part in it. And if I need to clean something up, if I've been unfairly flustered, meaning that did I say something that wasn't appropriate or to another person. So I said to her, of course I lose my stuffing. Everybody gets mad. These are emotions. I've said it so many times before. They're all valid. What you do with them is up to you. And I think that's where hopefully you pull on some manners, and you really pull on some manners. Has made it sound like pull on your shorts, put your pants on. So pull on your manners, and you don't like flow off at the mouth or the fingertips if it's a keyboard or your phone. So when I said to her, but what difference does that make anyway on whether I have publicly lost my stuff or not? Like, why are you comparing yourself to me? And it got me thinking that that happens a lot, and I see it in sessions, of course. And in my own life, when I get inside my head and say, why haven't I created this yet? Why haven't, why is that podcast not up yet? Or even, how come you didn't vacuum? Like, there's hay everywhere. You need to vacuum, woman, because nobody else is coming in here and doing it. So that critic that gets in there and starts listing off things. And I was thinking about, actually, while I was running and trying not to compare myself to other people's paces. So you got to appreciate the irony in that. But I thought it's just so sad to me, like when other people do it. And I don't mean that in a condescending way. It literally hurts my heart. It hurts my being, my emotional heart, not my physical one. That one's good. It hurts me when I hear people say, well, that person did this and I haven't accomplished it yet, or I said by this age I would have reached this milestone. Well, first of all, kudos to you for having any of those. I don't get that specific with my life, so I'm impressed when people do. But the comparison game only takes away from yourself, because your uniqueness is why you came in, right? You're the only soul that's you. You're the only human that's you. And until, we start artificial intelligence and duplicating ourselves like sheep, I think we're okay here. And I think we have to embrace that. So if you start comparing, not only are you taking away from your own brilliance of today, you're probably taking into consideration any comment anybody has ever made about you in the past, because we have amazing reticular activating system is inside this brain of ours, and it holds information better than any hard drive, and that's not always to our benefit. I mean, it is good when you've been practicing the piano, but it's not good if you've heard messages over and over again that weren't supportive. And I thought, as I was going over the conversation, but I was also hearing myself and watching where I compare, whether this is in a fitness class or in business or in life in general, like how did I parent? Could I have done a better job? That's always a yes. So just answer that question, yes. And I did the best I could. So just so you don't get the billy club out to beat yourself over the head with, because little buggers. So although I'm not responsible for this friend and her processing and her comparison to myself, the conflict that I could feel within her made me want to help. So, and full disclosure, I already told her when she listens or reads the blog, that yes, it is her, because I get emails saying, is this me? Is this me? And I always tell people, I always ask permission. But if it's an observation that I've had and seeing multiple people, I don't necessarily go to all of them and say that, because I try to make it anonymous. But so she knows, and we can all celebrate with her. So the comparison it'll diminish your own field, your own energy field, because when you're paying attention to out there, you can't be shining as you, because you're distracted and you're just you're giving away your own battery pack. And I think to a certain extent it's good. I mean, don't get me wrong, if I'm in a class and I see somebody totally nail their form in spin class, I remind myself that I need to drop my shoulders and have a straight spine and all of that. So or when I absolutely love Brene Brown, and when I see she puts out new material and I'm like, hey, that's the way I think, and that's how I work in my life, I aspire to have an impact like she has on the world. So, but I don't think I'm less than, because I'm not Brene. My middle name is Renee, so it's pretty close, but I'm not her. And because she's amazing as herself, and if I so wanted to be her, I wouldn't be able to appreciate her and everything that she brings to the world. So I'm wondering if you have the comparison game going on in your head. And if you use it to, do you use it to limit yourself, or do you use it in a way that shows you what is possible in the world, and what you could try, and what you could, aspire to do one day? Like there's another person, Myrna Valero. She does Fat Girl Running. Her blog is hysterical. You should really read it. And she does the ultras. So way beyond 26 miles. And that's something that appeals to me. So I read her stuff and I celebrate. She just did a 50 miler, I think. And I celebrate with her. I feel like this kinetic energy when somebody does well for themselves. And I feel like there's not enough of that in our world, where we're really happy for other people when they do well. And I don't know if you know this or not, but when we're talking about the law of attraction and wanting more in your life, and we should always want more within, and then if that translates to more externally, fantastic. But when you are able to be in a space where you're genuinely happy that someone else is doing well in and of themselves, and I don't mean just financially and all that, but they're genuinely loving their life, it enhances your own vibration. And there's plenty to go around. There is no reason for comparison. We live in an infinite universe. So there's not just one pie out there that, if I take a piece of that pie and create something, it didn't take away from your wedge. If it's strawberry rhubarb, I might fight you for it, but you can have all the other pies. I don't like the crust either, so I'm just going to eat the inside. All these things you learn about me. Isn't this fun? All the things I confess. It just amazes me sometimes. So if you're in that space of genuinely wanting other people to do well, that's why I love my job so much, because I genuinely want that for someone. It gives you a contact legal high, and then that goes into an energy, I'll call it an escrow account or savings account. So when you get clear on what it is that you'd like to create, it comes and things attract, and people come into your world, and you become the little Swiffer in a creating sense, not the Swiffer when I talk about it, about collecting other people's junk. So if you're playing the comparison game and you're looking over there to see what they have but you don't have, and you're even getting, bitchy about it, then you're not hurting that other person. You are taking away from your own experience, and you are limiting the beam of light that you're shining. And it's down to that when the flashlight goes and the battery's starting to drain and you hope it gets you to the doorway, it goes there. So don't be a dim flashlight. So the comparison, and I know that some of this is installed. I mean, geez, I have 7 siblings. I grew up, the comparison should have been called the game of the day or something, but it's going to happen naturally. You are responsible for what you do with it. So my sister's the smart one, my brother's the successful one, my cousin's the one who can do no wrong. You're the one projecting that out, and others may be saying it, but you are only going to limit your own experience by doing that. So if you get locked up in that, I don't want to say comparison 9 million more times, but if you get locked up in that defective exchange, you're going to find it very difficult to figure out what it is you want. So one of the things that I was thinking about as I was running and going through this stuff, I'm like, well, what are some of the things that we all do? And if any of you has ever had a toddler that was potty training, the book Everyone Poops, it was probably on your shelf. So I thought, this is me, my own uniqueness. I'm gonna start there. Everyone poops. You may have problems pooping. You may poop in a diaper. You may have a colostomy bag. Regardless, our systems move all that stuff through. Animals, everything defecates in some way or another. So if you have a hard time letting go of the comparison game, get your head there, because once you start thinking that, yeah, nothing else can come in, and you'll just automatically knock yourself off that train of thought, because the brain can only go on one at a time. And you'll be in a space, hopefully, of humor. Unless you are the one changing those diapers, and then it's not so engaging. But the bringing it to that space of humor take you out of looking at the other person's paper, because it's just like when you're in school. If you cheated off another person's paper, you didn't earn that grade, nor did you learn anything there. And you gypped yourself from feeling proud when that paper came back and it had a good grade on it. So looking at other people and thinking they do that better than I do, or they're smarter than I am, or whatever the words are. If you're using an word, better, smarter, wealthier, prettier, any of the words take you back in comparison. They're automatically comparison words. So watch your vocabulary. The other thing I think we can keep in mind is, if you're going to use that brilliant part of your brain that is built for comparison, then use it for supportive things, and realize that everyone hurts. Everyone has something in their life that has impacted them, and that may still be in there, or they may be aware of the message they received from it, but everyone hurts. And I think if you keep this in mind, that person that you're pointing your finger at and comparing yourself in a not so nice way, hopefully that comes to the front of your brain, and you use your reasoning and you say, you know what, I'm not gonna point out what they have in a deficient manner. I'm going to remember that everyone hurts, and me thinking this about them probably would hurt, and I don't need to bring myself to that place. So I think it also helps expand compassion, and not to give excuse to poor behavior ever, but to keep in mind so we can stay open-hearted, because it's so easy. And I get this. Sometimes I feel the pain in the world so strongly that I just want to close mine right off. That's it. Out of business. Not going to feel or perceive, because it's too big for my physical self. So if you keep in mind that of what that feels like for you to feel pain, and then extend it out to your fellow humans, the next time your judgy McJudgy wants to get on board and either go in comparing that they should be like me, they should be more like me. I love when someone comes up to me and they say, I'm the most compassionate person, I'm very spiritual, and you always wait for the and, because if someone is telling you how they are instead of demonstrating how they are, they're comparing already to what was going on in their head before you even had the conversation. So be kind. Don't yell right back at them, no, you're not spiritual because you just told me, because that's what Vicky said. But I think actions and demonstration speak louder. So everyone has dreams. You know, everyone has something within them that maybe they don't know where they put it. Maybe they're not sure if they're capable of it, but everyone has a desire to grow and to learn, and this can be part of it. Being interested in someone else. What do they want to explore, learn? it can turn off the comparison monster if you get interested in what someone else is dialoguing about, or even what they're going through. Don't join them in a pity party. That does not help anyone. You can have compassion, but the minute you start joining someone in a pity party, you're helping to manifest, helping to create and add energy to whatever they're whining about. Deep hurt is a different situation. I'm hoping you can make the delineation there. So the idea, I feel like we're moving forward, I sincerely hope I'm right about this, towards, and the energy that we're moving forward in is that we are more alike than we are different. And I think the more of us that are out there promoting that and who are living it, I don't mean just carrying a sign, but who are actually living it, that each being that I meet has desires, wishes, intentions, and they are doing themselves the best they can do themselves, and therefore you agree to meet them in that capacity too. I feel like the comparison in the less than place will start to diminish itself, and then it can be used for enhancing products, or enhancing lives. Well, products, if that's what you're developing right now. So if you find going into this week, and especially into the holidays, those cute little stressful places, if you allow them to be, it's not about the stuff, okay? These holidays are, the intentions anyway, I believe, behind them is not how much can we cook for the holiday, how much can we provide, how much can we buy, how stressed can I make myself out to be because I need you guys to pay attention to me because I'm giving away my life and then I'll resent it later. Yeah, that's not what the holidays are about. So if someone is in that space and you find yourself joining it, I don't know, have a code word or something that drags your buns back to what is the actual intention of the season, whatever you celebrate. What is the heart behind it? I promise you, it's not a sale the day after Thanksgiving. Oh, heck, it's even on the day of Thanksgiving now. But I promise you, that's not the intention. So maybe you need to look at where, do you have a keeping up with the Jones gene? And I want to give that back to, sorry, any Joneses. Boy, you guys got ripped off on that comparison, huh? You weren't even part of it, and you get lumped in. So, keeping up with the Jetsons. We'll do the Jetsons. So, my hope for you, for me, for all beings, is that we start to appreciate what it is we got on board, your uniqueness with the YOU in there, and what you are creating. One of my favorite things that I ever saw, I think it was on a meme or something, and it said, everyone has roles when they sit down. I just thought that was so cute because babies, their little roles and stuff. So yes, it gets into body image, but my feeling on the comparison thing, because one other time I brought this up, someone said to me, well, society teaches us that. Aren't you a member of society? Could you maybe teach something else? And could you maybe not be so weak in your own knowing of who you are to not be influenced by that? You think? Now, I'll give young girls and boys and every other choice in there free reign here when you're younger. No, you don't know that unless someone demonstrates it for you. So the idea that society is responsible for how I feel about my body, no, I am. I'm responsible, and I can change that. And I'm responsible when I, put something in the strawberry rhubarb pie hole. But I'm also responsible for looking in the mirror and realizing that changes happen and seeing it on the bike or seeing it when I'm running or even just carrying something up the stairs and noticing that I, can get down on the floor and twist into some of those yoga poses, not all of them. I have very short legs. I can't do all those things. So the idea that anyone else is responsible for what's going through your head, it may have been planted or contributed to, but you are responsible for that, and that's a very empowering place to be. And if you need help moving it, you know where I am. I'm very good at moving physically and moving those neural pathways and the heart center, because if the heart doesn't line up with the brain and the soul, you'll still be out of alignment. So this week, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to simply be aware of when you are looking at another person's plate, looking at another person's paper, and if you're not doing it in a complimentary fashion, just back out. Just take yourself back. And that includes giving your opinion to others when not sought. So if someone asks you, you can preface it with, well, this is how I see it from my experience. I can't possibly know what it's like from yours, but if you're asking me, this is what I'm offering. But if you're giving out free advice, and unsolicited advice, you are playing the comparison game too. So, save it for apples and oranges. Do I want an apple? Do I want an orange? I don't know. Do you want pectin? Do you want vitamin C? Do I want to peel it? Do I just want to eat it? Save comparison for fruit. All right, that'll just make it easier. I could have said that in the beginning, been completely done. Okay, so I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And thank you so much for all of you for showing up. And I look forward to seeing you next week. And if you have any questions, any ideas, any subjects that you want me to talk about, I say this every week, feel free to send them along. And I just adore you. So thanks for stopping by.